In this video, I'm going to reveal some of my favorite wines that sell for around $50 per bottle, give or take. But to make things interesting, these wines focus exclusively on wines that are a little bit under the radar, underrated, or out of fashion in some way. To be sure, though, these are all world-class wines that I would be happy to enjoy any day of the week. There's red wines and white wines, and a variety of different countries and regions represented, so there should be something for everyone. And if you have any wines that you think would be appropriate for this theme, please let us know in the comments below. We're going to start out strong with one of the very best Super Tuscan values that I know. While many second wines from top producers like Sassicaia and Ornellaia sell for $50 or more these days, this wine sells for about $50 per bottle, even though it's not a second wine at all. This is a producer that's been in the Bolgheri area since the very early days and learned how to make wine from some of the big names. He started his own winery in 1988, and for whatever reason, his wine has never had the incredible price inflation that some of the other wines in the area have experienced. While this producer has historically emphasized including Sangiovese in his Super Tuscan blend, the 2023 vintage is the first vintage where he did not do so. So this wine is a blend that consists of 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 30% Merlot, and 10% Cabernet Franc. So the first top wine for $50 a bottle is the highly acclaimed 2023 Michele Satta Piastraia Bolgheri Superiore. This wine features flavors and aromas that include blackberry, mint, cedar, tobacco, and Mediterranean herbs. It's very much a classic Super Tuscan blend. Another thing I like about this wine is the more restrained use of new oak, only about 40%. This makes it a little bit approachable when it's younger, and it's wine you can definitely enjoy early and certainly over the next 15 years or more as well. One of my viewers has been reminding me recently about the importance of Portuguese wines and some of the incredible values to be had in Portugal. He's absolutely right. But unfortunately, there's not that many of them that are available in my area in Dallas, Texas. But this next top wine for $50 a bottle comes from a producer that has widespread distribution, so this is a wine that you should be able to track down. This is the 2023 Quinta do Crasto Douro Reserve Old Vines. As the name suggests, the fruit for this wine comes from some very old vines, specifically a field blend that contains a number of different Portuguese varieties. You might expect this to be a robust red wine. It comes in at about 14.5%, but it's incredibly well balanced and has ample acidity. It has more of a red fruit profile, and there's a bit of a wild herb quality to it, sort of like a Garrigue component. They have an elaborate oak maturation regime. They age this wine for around 18 months in a mix of 85% French oak, 15% American oak, and 2/3 of that oak is new. This is a surprisingly elegant wine with fine-grained tannins and a long finish. It offers compelling quality at the $50 price point. My new book, Napa Valley Decoded, is already a #1 bestseller and the top new release in wine. This is the book that I wish I had when I first got into Napa Valley many years ago. This book has quickly become a trusted resource for collectors, enthusiasts, and wine professionals. Whether you drink Napa Valley wines, are studying for a certification exam, or are visiting Napa Valley, this book will be an invaluable resource. To learn more, please be sure to check out the link in the description below. If you're going to be doing some barbecuing and axe throwing in the backyard this summer, this next top wine for $50 is the perfect pairing for those activities. Master of Wine Morgan Twain Peterson has been a leading advocate and proponent of preserving historic old vines from California that were planted as early as the 1800s. This next wine is a field blend that comes from vines that were planted way back in the 1890s, for example. This wine is a blend that consists of 80% Zinfandel, 10% Mourvèdre, and 10% Carignan. This vineyard is extremely windy in the afternoon, and these windy conditions help the vines to shut down, which is actually a good thing because it allows the flavors to concentrate without producing excessive sugar. This is a wine that was extremely well received by the critics who reviewed it, so the next top wine for $50 per bottle is the 2024 Bedrock Heritage Evangelho. This is a wine you can enjoy young with a healthy decant and some red meat, but it's also extremely age-worthy. In fact, I've been enjoying some of the Bedrock wines that I purchased way back in 2012 and 2013, and they're still showing extremely well. This wine features flavors and aromas that include mixed fruit, licorice, floral notes, and mixed herbs. After that robust red wine and barbecue, we will definitely need a palate cleanser. So the next top wine for $50 a bottle is a Riesling from Pfalz, Germany. 2023 was a strong vintage in Germany, and particularly so in Pfalz, and this next wine comes from one of my favorite producers of German Riesling. This is the 2023 Müller-Catoir Herrenletten Riesling Trocken. Trocken means dry, but of course under German law there's a precise definition. Typically it means less than 9 grams per liter of residual sugar. The fruit for this wine from the Herrenletten vineyard comes from organically grown grapes. This is a mineral-driven wine with flavors and aromas that include Asian pear, peach, grapefruit, and white flowers. It has impressive acidity and a long, complex finish. It's charming when young, but certainly has the capacity to age for 10 years or more as well. In my opinion, Cabernet Franc from Loire offers some of the absolute greatest value in the entire world of red wine. You get purity of fruit, minerality, and transparency at prices that are almost comically low. So the next top wine for $50 a bottle is the 2022 Domaine Grosbois Chinon Clos de Noyer. 2022 is a special vintage for this wine. In 2021, Domaine Grosbois had to remove around 2/3 of the vines in this vineyard, so what was left is only the oldest, most impressive vines that they had. It was those old vines that produced the fruit for this enjoyable wine. This wine is intensely concentrated with impressive purity of fruit, yet it comes in at only around 13 or 13.5% alcohol by volume. It has a dark fruit profile and flavors and aromas that include mixed spice and some intriguing floral notes. Think violets. This wine has a very long drinking window. It's a wine you can enjoy in its youth if you enjoy primary fruit, but it will also age in your cellar effortlessly for at least 10 to 15 years as well. This next top wine for $50 per bottle comes from a true Spanish winemaking legend. Alvaro Palacios was one of the producers that helped to restore Priorat to its former glory. Palacios is perhaps best known for the ultra-rare Lermita bottling that sells for thousands of dollars per bottle. And yet, what most people don't realize is that he also made an extremely impressive wine that sells for about $50 per bottle. This is the 2022 Alvaro Palacios Les Terrasses Old Vines. This is a wine that delivers consistent value every single vintage, so you really don't need to worry too much about which vintage of this wine that you're buying. This wine is a complex blend that consists of 60% Garnacha, 39% Carignana, and there's even 1% of white grapes included. This fruit comes from 53 hectares of vineyards in 7 different villages, and all of these vines are old vines. This wine is matured in French oak barriques as well as large oak casks for around 12 months or so. Alcohol by volume is around 14.5%. It's very well balanced and there's impressive acidity. You can expect flavors and aromas of mixed red fruit, whetstone, mixed herbs, and spice. This is definitely a no-brainer if you enjoy wines from Priorat. I've featured Antinori wines on this channel many times, but never a white wine and never one from Napa Valley. Antinori's been quietly making wines in Napa Valley for decades under the Antica name, which is short for Antinori, California. But recently they rebranded these operations and now they go by Antinori Napa Valley. They have an impressive Chardonnay that comes from their estate vineyard in Atlas Peak. So the next top wine for $50 a bottle is the Antinori Napa Valley A26 Chardonnay. The fruit for this wine comes from a high elevation site on the Antinori estate that has extremely volcanic soils. This wine is barrel fermented and matured for around 6 months in 83% new French oak and 17% French oak that has 1 year of use. This is a medium-bodied wine that very much has a mountain fruit profile. You can expect flavors and aromas of lemon, lime, whetstone, mixed herbs, and spice. This is a wine that you can enjoy immediately, but it certainly has the capability of aging for 8 to 10 years with no problem whatsoever. When it comes to Italian red wines, certainly wines like Barolo, Barbaresco, Brunello, and Super Tuscan wines get a lot of the attention, but there's certainly a number of other excellent red wines being produced in Italy as well. One that I discovered long ago during my Level 3 WSET program is Aglianico. Aglianico is a variety that thrives in the Taurasi region in Campania, and there's some extremely impressive wines made from Aglianico. If you haven't tried Aglianico before, it has impressive acidity, but it can also have some grippy tannins, so tannin management is paramount. Mastroberardino is one of the benchmark producers in Taurasi, and they make one of my favorite expressions of Aglianico, and it's called Radici. Radici is their flagship bottling. This wine is 100% Aglianico, and the fruit for this wine comes from carefully selected Aglianico fruit from south-facing vineyards. This is a wine that matures for around 24 months in barrel, but then also undergoes extensive aging in the bottle before being released to help tame the tannins. This is a full-bodied, intensely concentrated wine, but also one that is well balanced with ample acidity. Flavors and aromas include dark fruit, wet stone, black licorice, mixed herbs and spice, and earth. This is oftentimes a wine that I order at Italian restaurants because the price is extremely reasonable relative to other Italian reds that are on restaurant wine lists. This wine does already undergo extensive aging at the winery before it's released, so you can enjoy it young with a healthy decant and a meal in a pinch. But I found that I enjoy it with even more aging, preferably an additional 8 to 10 years after release. If you're ordering this wine at an Italian restaurant, it will definitely benefit from some air. So I would definitely encourage you to order it early in the meal and request that the server pour it in glasses for everyone so that the wine can air out. You can definitely try it that way right when they pour it and see how it evolves over the course of the evening. But when I'm doing that, I almost always get either a starter cocktail or a white wine at the beginning because this wine will definitely be much better an hour or two after it's poured. If you'd like to learn more about Italian wines, I've published numerous videos on various Italian wine subjects, including Super Tuscan wines, Barolo, Brunello, Chianti Classico, and many more. So if you'd like to check those out, be sure to check out the playlist that's linked above.